It has been a gorgeous week here at Oak Hill after what feels like the longest winter in Rochester history. The course in this town are ready to do exactly what it does best, stage a major championship. We are live at Oak Hill Country Club. This is Countdown to a Championship. For the next half hour, we'll get you ready for the 12th major to be staged at Oak Hill Country Club. The world-famous East Course is a place that takes no prisoners, especially among the seniors. Last time this event was here, it was won with +7. Jay Haas was your champion back in 2008. That's the highest score, a.k.a. worst score, for a winner at Oak Hill ever. A few guys talked about how playing in the spring means the course is a bit wetter and plays a bit longer. Despite an incredibly wet spring, everyone was raving about the work of Oak Hill Superintendent Jeff Corcoran.
They're probably one of the best, if not the best in the business of preparing golf courses for major championships.
I know it's a major, but it's set up majorly. The rough is severe. The wind's an issue, obviously, and it's long.
Individually, the holes don't seem that hard, but collectively, once you start playing them, if you're just a little off, you're just a little bit on the wrong angle, this golf course can just wear you out, and it's tough to make pars sometimes.
We're all saying between us here that if someone stays around the level par mark over 4 days, you know, you'll be winning, or you've been lucky not to win.
One of the highlights of every summer here at Oak Hill is when the club includes a new member in its well-known Hill of Fame. Today, another man had that honor bestowed upon him. Jay Haas was the 2008 inductee to the Hill of Fame. The ceremony took place just a few hours ago on the patio at Oak Hill near the 18th green. Haas learned about the award decades ago. His caddy this week is Bill Harmon, the brother of legendary and longtime Oak Hill head pro Craig Harmon. Haas literally did not believe the club when they called to inform him of the induction.
In the future, people will look at it and go, wow, look at Nicklaus and Palmer and Trevino and Eisenhower, all these different people, and Haas. Well, who's that guy? How the hell did he get in there? But I am very, very honored, and you can't. I've just got to get chills thinking about it.
Now, this championship is loaded with Rochester connections, and of course, that includes the legendary Jeff Sluman. With more on his story this week, Prescott Rossi joins me now.
Yes, that's right, Thad. Jeff Sluman says it's a small gesture, but one he always treasures, standing on the first tee here at Oak Hill Country Club. So many legends have stood in the exact same spot. Sluman says it just feels right. He'll stand in that spot again tomorrow, just as he has for the past 5 decades. Jeff Sluman remembers his first visit to Oak Hill. His dad brought him to the 1968 U.S. Open.
I said, Dad, these fairways are better than the greens we play on. And it just made such an impression. And then walking up and seeing this beautiful Tudor clubhouse, and I can honestly remember saying, you know, maybe someday I could play a round of golf here.
He sure has done that. This week, Sluman will play in his 4th major at Oak Hill. His first was in 1989. Even though he was already a major championship winner, he was still motivated by a fear of failure.
I guess you could say it was the imposter syndrome. I always, every year, said I got to get better. I got to work on different things. My game's got to improve, or somebody's going to find out I'm really not any good.
Sluman has played in nearly 1,000 events since turning pro in 1980. All that golf has changed his mentality.
I'm pretty comfortable in my shoes. That's the difference now. At least I know I couldn't have had a 39-year lucky streak.
Jeff Sluman's career includes 1 major championship win, 6 wins on the PGA Tour, and 6 more on the Champions Tour. But he'll always be known for being from Rochester.
Right, always got a lot of, hey, we're from Rochester, we're from Greece, we're from Gates Chili and stuff like that. So, you know, a lot of my playing partners, they'd kind of look up because they wouldn't get those reactions. And I tell them Rochester's an unbelievable golf town.
Sluman turns 62 in September. He intends to play the rest of this year, then take a look at the future. For now, he's going to take it all in.
You know, realistically, this is my last time to play competitively here in Rochester. So I'm going to soak it up. I'm going to have a good time and just enjoy.
51 years after his first trip to Oak Hill, it's still special to Jeff Sluman. Reporting at the Senior PGA Championship, I'm Prescott Rossi. Now, Thad, winning the 1988 PGA Championship remains Jeff Sluman's greatest golf accomplishment, but he says that's not his greatest golf experience. That would be playing in the Senior PGA back in 2008. He finished 4 shots off the lead, but he said playing in front of friends and family, quote, was the best feeling in the world. Perhaps he'll make new memories this weekend here at Oak Hill.
He was very good that year, too. Really close to having a chance to win. Prescott, thank you very much. Now, Jeff Sluman's not the only man with local connections in the field. Dudley Hart is also here. He was born in Rochester, moved to Buffalo when he was young, but kept up that local connection because he's the co-owner of Lakeshore Country Club. In 2012, he needed spinal fusion surgery to keep his playing career alive, and if that sounds familiar, it should. It's the same surgery that Tiger Woods had. Still, Hart is a good case study for the difficulties that most senior pros face.
Back's pretty good. You know, it's just stuff's falling apart. Had my knee scoped 6-8 weeks ago. My thumb's messed. You know, it's just, I think everybody out here, you deal with something. So I'm just resting ice. I do a lot of ice, man. I should probably buy an ice company, but I ice every part of my body pretty much at some point during the week.
All right, coming up next, another story on a golfer whose body is failing him. You find a lot of that out here. This one also in the midst of a firestorm. Again, partly of his own doing. More on John Daly and his response to the golf cart critics after the break on Countdown to a Championship.
Genesee Community College, student success is at the center of everything we do. And that's one of the reasons that we switched to Tompkins Bank of Cast Isle. They're stable, instant, and local.
Tompkins Bank of Cast Isle and Tompkins Insurance Agencies.
The legends of the PGA Tour champions are larger than life. Some of the best players to ever play the game. Icons with hundreds of accomplishments among them. So tune in every week for the legendary action on the PGA Tour champions, where legends play.
Come see Miguel and all of today's legends at the Dick's Sporting Goods Open in nearby Endicott, New York. For additional information, visit dsgopen.com or call 607-205-1500.
Over 100 years ago, we were talking about the Model T. Now here we are, talking about winning the most J.D. Power IQS and Appeal Awards, talking about driver assist technology, talking about the highest customer loyalty in the country. But that's enough talking. Seriously, that was a lot of talking. Back to building.
Right now, get a fun-to-drive EcoSport for as little as $179 a month. Just $179 for a brand new Ford EcoSport.
News 8, winner of the 2019 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Now you can get an online business loan from a local bank you trust. With Lightning Loans from Tompkins Bank of Cast Isle, you can apply online in minutes, and most approvals happen in 24 to 48 hours. Get started now at bankofcastile.com.
We're back on Countdown to a Championship. Getting Oak Hill ready for a major championship is a 2-year undertaking, and the construction actually began all the way back in late March. The PGA of America employs 14 college interns to help. They're called Swampers. They've been working rain or shine. Our spring here makes it way more rain than shine. Josh Navarro has much more on this interesting crew.
I go to Central Michigan University.
I'm at school at St. John Fisher.
I went to the University of Tampa.
They are college students from all over. They're part of the PGA of America Summer Internship Program of Operation Assistance, but they go by Swampers. They get a first-hand look on what a major championship can look like and how it operates down to the roots. And the conditions they work in vary from place to place.
This is it is the most fun you can have in miserable conditions that you'll ever experience. We are in the rain, the snow, the wind, here until 1 a.m. We can be in at 5 a.m. as we were this morning. And to get through that, you need a camaraderie. So all of us are very close.
The job at hand ranges from painting the fences white to moving generators to the golf course.
Different skills like carpentry even. wind screening here is a big thing that we've been doing.
On average, they'll travel to at least 2 championships per internship and make unforgettable memories.
We had to place some concrete blocks into a swamp. And to do that, we had to go into the swamp, physically be in there and help set them to the place. And it was April in Michigan, so it was roughly 40 degrees, kind of as it was like the last few days here. And miserable in the cold water, but it's a fun story when you come out of it. We're just like, yeah, we were kind of crazy enough to go into the water and whatever else.
And hundreds of people who work for PGA of America started out in the business as swampers. From the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship, I'm Josh Navarro.
Now, like Josh said, this is the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship, and the title sponsor works as hard entertaining as the golfers do here at Oak Hill. The Piece de Resistance is the Fairway Club, one of the first things fans will see when they enter the course, and it is truly a kitchen lover's dream, filled with appliances you can try out yourself. Plus, starting tomorrow, KitchenAid will be giving away $5,000 worth of KitchenAid gear to one fan per day. There are sign-up locations for this contest all over the course. There will also be celebrity chefs on site conducting cooking demos all weekend. Former Top Chef winner Stephanie Izzard will be with Radio Social head chef Steve Eakins tomorrow. Friday, Top Chef judge Tom Colicchio will be with Joel Zolnierowski from Nosh. Saturday is Iron Chef Alex Guarnacelli with Chris Roth from right here at Oak Hill. And Sunday, Matt Wooster along with Mary Beth Brinkerhoff. Now, one of the first players into town this week, that was John Daly, and as usual, he is in the middle of something controversial. Dan Fates has been following John Daly all week.
Yeah, Daly is one of the bigger names in golf. His colorful clothes and lifestyle have made him a fan favorite. But Daly says over the last 2 weeks, he's been, quote, ridiculed. And now he's firing back at his critics.
In a span of 7 days, John Daly will play in 2 major championships, the PGA and the Senior PGA. But he's not making headlines for his long drives. Instead, it's what he's driving.
It honestly sucks. I felt embarrassed driving a golf cart in a major.
The 1991 PGA champ became the first player in nearly a decade to ride in a cart. Daly applied to use the cart through the Americans with Disabilities Act because he suffers from diabetes and osteoarthritis in his right knee that keeps him from walking a full round.
It's not fun. Anybody who's disabled should have a chance to be on a level playing field. And I can't believe I was ever going to be one of them. What really pisses me off is people downing guys and downing women who have ADA problems.
As far as JD taking a cart, well, I walked with a broken leg, so.
It sucks. And you know what? And I can say for these guys, like Tiger and these guys, when they get to 50, oh, watch what happens.
Daly says he's lived his life, quote, full go, hit it hard, but added that the media's perception of him and his cart is all wrong.
I'm listening to these guys, and I'm going like Robert Dameron, like, what have you done in the game of golf? Zero. They said, well, look how he's taking care of himself and all this. It just makes me sick how the media can downgrade somebody. So what, the way I've lived my life? It doesn't matter. I want to play, and I want to be competitive, and the only way I can do it's in a golf cart.
Yeah, Thad, when asked how he's feeling this week and his chances of competing in classic Daly fashion, he said that as long as he took his diabetes shot in the morning, his blood pressure medicine, and didn't drink a little too much, he'd be just fine.
And the little too much is always a question mark with Mr. Daly there. All right, thanks, Dan. It is probably the most unique and the most unbelievable accomplishment in golf, and only a couple dozen people witnessed it at Oak Hill. Those lucky few will tell that legendary story next on Countdown to a Championship.
Allow Row Photo, Video, and Audio to put finishing touches on your dream audio or TV experience. Let our courteous professional design and installation team provide you with a free walkthrough in your home or office. Give Row a call.
This is Van Bortle Ford, making customers happy by keeping our promise to take care of you. Welcoming you to our spectacular showroom where you will find just what you're looking for. Into our service department, open Monday through Saturday until 8 p.m., offering free loaners in a convenient quick lane for those visits you need on the go. It's a Van Bortle experience customers love. Visit us on Marsh Road. Van Bortle Ford, there's nothing we won't do for you.
Get 3 times the savings at Ruby Gordon.
1.
Get up to 50% off store-wide.
2.
No interest financing for up to 60 months.
3.
Get a $50 gift card just for coming in.
The biggest Memorial Day sale.
Only at Ruby Gordon.
Del Lago Resort and Casino welcomes comedian and actor Joel McHale, Saturday, June 15th at 8 p.m. Best known for his E-News show, The Soup, and TV show Community.
Thanks to the internet, you get to believe whatever lines up with what you want to believe. Hey, everybody, the Earth is flat. Great, Professor Kyrie Irving.
Tickets are starting at $25, so get them while they last. Joel McHale, coming to Del Lago Saturday, June 15th. Only at Del Lago Resort and Casino. Conveniently located off the thruway between Syracuse and Rochester. Must be 21 or older to purchase tickets and attend the show.
A cemetery with a fireplace?
Yes, where you can visit in comfort all year long. Visit Whitehaven Memorial Park.
In Workers' Comp Court, the only person on your side is the attorney at your side. Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
Allow Row Photo, Video, and Audio to put finishing touches on your dream audio or TV experience. Let our courteous professional design and installation team provide you with a free walkthrough in your home or office. Give Row a call.
30 years ago, during the 1989 U.S. Open right here at Oak Hill, 4 men made a hole-in-one during the second round on hole number 6 in a span of just 2 hours. It's a feat unmatched in golf history and likely will never be touched. Here is the story of that day, told by the few who witnessed it and the players who made it happen.
Friday morning, there wasn't much going on, and it started out just like any other day.
It was a nice, kind of a cool morning, so the greens were perfect. There was, probably no ball marks, no cleat marks.
And there weren't a lot of spectators. By that time, there probably were 20, 30 people standing around.
I hit a good shot. Did I think it was going in the hole? No. Hey, the crowd's saying something down there, and it's going to the hole. Wow, this is fun. This is fun. Let's go. Wow, it's in the hole.
It wasn't more than, not even an hour later, and then Weeby hits me.
I was so mad getting to that tee because I had just double bogeyed number 5. Even when the ball went in, never forget handing my caddy the club and saying, that will take care of that double on the last hole. And then I think, what a jerk I was. I should have, if I did it again, I'd try to do a handstand or a cartwheel or something to celebrate.
I could hear that people were holding the ball in that hole. You just kind of knew it. The thing I remember the most was having Leroy Schultz, who was a famous caddy. And when we got on the tee, I said, Leroy, I'm going to hold this shot. We're going to make a 1. And he said, go on with it, Jerome, because that's my real name, Jerome. And not many people call me by Jerome, so I can remember that vividly. He said, go on about it, Jerome. You knock it in the hole, and I did.
I think I was on 13T or walking down 13 fairway. Roar! So the buzz was exciting because there's another one. Or could it be another one?
You could tell the crescendo was building as these hole-in-ones continued to happen.
There was a buzz on that tee. I mean, I don't know how many people were on that tee when we got there, but it was circled with fans.
There was standing room only. Everybody was crowding around. Am I going to get to see another one?
My caddy at the time, Dave McNeely, he's walking ahead of me, and this marshal comes up to him and says, they're making 1s on this hole. They're making 1s on this hole. And this is how you do it. You got to hit it. And Dave McNeely said, hey, you can't give us advice. You're going to get my man disqualified. As it's in the air, this marshal's jumping up and down. He says, that's it, that's it. And the thing bounced on the ball on the green, rolled to the left, and went in the hole. And this guy went, more berserk than I did.
I don't know if it was disbelief as much as, you got to be kidding me. There's another hole-in-one?
When mine went in, I mean, we were all just dumbstruck, honestly.
All 4 of them were kind of like, because we're awestruck a little bit, even after they all came into the media room and had hours to digest it.
I remember all my buddies, not all of them, most of them saying, well, hell, there were 3 other guys. It wasn't that hard.
With that pin placement, it was a little bit of a bowl, and just they put it in that spot, and the guys took advantage of it.
The pin placement was not easy, but it did definitely, the two that fed off of the slope made it easier.
If you're going to have any benign conditions or softness to the golf course, it's going to be early. It's not going to be late.
It just happened to be the right day. The greens were soft enough because it was a very mushy week.
If the greens had been firm and fast, I think the ball would have released a little bit further up the slope, and then it would have hung up and not come back down. So, you know, there were a lot of factors that made that shot a little easier that day.
Where the story gets to be fun is this is being witnessed by the marshals, the players, and the spectators. There is no media.
When the third one happened, there was kind of a mass exodus from the press tent to get out there and see what was going on. I mean, it started after the second, but really the third one, it was, oh my God.
This guy from Tennessee comes out. I said, you're going to have to wait a few minutes. I got the New York Times next. And then a friend of mine called me the next day and says, you're in the Las Vegas papers being quoted. I think I probably did 7 or 8 interviews.
There was a cameraman from Buffalo watching our group with a camera in his shoulder. He got so euphoric, he didn't take any video of anything. I saw him later at a Pro-Am in Buffalo, and he said, I could have made a lot of money.
You had to be there to be able to tell this story. And there aren't a lot of us who can tell this story.
I did go out there Saturday. I remember there being a lot of people there. Like everyone wanted to just even sit there where this had happened.
There's 88 U.S. Opens prior to us in '89. There were only 17 holes in one in those 88 Opens. So to have 4 in one day, in one event, in a period of 2 hours, it's incomprehensible.
Be part of, like I said, one that's in the Hall of Fame is an unbelievable feat. By 4 knuckleheads playing golf, that's pretty cool.
Now, later this summer, Oak Hill will undergo a course restoration that will remove the 6th hole. Some members voted against the restoration simply because that hole was the site for the 4 aces. But every person I talked to for this story supported the change. As Nick Price pointed out, even at St. Andrews, the home of golf, the course has changed over the years. And as Jerry Sullivan said, you can't erase the history. Up next, we'll hear from a man with a history almost as long as the 4 aces when Countdown to a Championship returns after this.
The legends of the PGA Tour champions are larger than life. Some of the best players to ever play the game. Icons with hundreds of accomplishments among them. So tune in every week for the legendary action on the PGA Tour champions, where legends play.
Come see Miguel and all of today's legends at the Dick's Sporting Goods Open in nearby Endicott, New York. For additional information, visit dsgopen.com or call 607-205-1500.
When you walk in the door here, you really get the opportunity to do what you love. If somebody purchases windows with Renewal by Andersen, our goal is to take them out of the window industry for the rest of their life.
We make sure that our customers have the best experience possible. We have an entire process. We're not going anywhere. We can stand behind our product and we can stand behind our warranty.
They're there to help you out. They treat you as part of the family.
If you do the same thing for 111 years, you got to be doing something right.
A window that doesn't open and close, a window that doesn't keep drafts out, a window that needs constant maintenance is basically lost all of its value. And when there's nobody to turn to, the consumer loses.
When you purchase from us, you're not alone. Because once we install your windows, we're just starting our relationship. We're not ending it.
Countdown to Indy, Saturday at 2:30 on News 8 WROC.
Vidler's, Main Street, East Aurora.
Take up to 25% off MSRP on all Jeep and Ram vehicles now at Marina. During the Bigger Things sales event, drive a new Ram 1500 for just $185 a month with 0 down payment. An offer like this can only be made by Marina. Come to Marina Ram in Webster.
Back on Countdown to a Championship. Round 1 starts in about 12 hours. Here is where you can find some of the big names tomorrow. Colin Montgomery will be up early, one of the big names there. He's going off with Scott McCarron. McCarron has won 2 of the last 4 senior events. Our defending champ Paul Broadhurst in the same group with Bernhard Longer, who has dominated the senior tour. You want local favorites? Dudley Hart. He starts at 8:35 a.m. Jeff Sluman has an afternoon time in the same group with John Daly. One of the almost heroes from the 95 Ryder Cup, Corey Pavin, goes off 10 in the afternoon, at 1:10, excuse me. And then at 1:30, the previous Oak Hill Winners Group, 2003 PGA champ Sean McKeel with 2008 senior PGA champ Jay Haas. The weather for this weekend is going to be a bit hit and miss. Tomorrow, expect a short but problematic storm around midday that could interrupt play. Friday's nice. Saturday, kind of like summer, but maybe another delay. Sunday, I think, fortunately, will be the best day of the week. Now, there hasn't been a major in 30 years at Oak Hill without John Kutchko. We are not about to start having one now. John Kutchko joins me now with the final thoughts.
Thad, I'm honored to be part of your special. Nice to be at a championship and not stressing. Most relaxed I've ever been at Oak Hill. We all know about the beauty here from tee to green, but then there is the horticulture. There's the plantings, the flowers, the bushes, the trees. It's so well documented. The ornamentals are a sight to behold on the hallowed grounds here, and they are peaking right now. Everything from the lilacs to the azaleas. Just a magnificent sight as one walks around these treasured grounds. For decades, Oak Hill Country Club has been our connection to the world stage in sports, from a Ryder Cup, U.S. Open, PGA Championship, Senior PGA, and so many more. This special place is without peer, and its greatness is in the details, the beauty that surrounds and abounds amidst these mighty oaks. Horticulturist Simon Creek told me earlier today he pre-ordered 3,500 annuals for this event. They take it very seriously on all fronts.
John, of course, thanks very much for your thoughts, and we'll hear from you again on the weekend. Now, remember, there are a whole bunch more of these specials where this one came from. We start tomorrow night. You can catch Senior PGA tonight after rounds 1 through 3, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a fast and fun recap of the day at Oak Hill. It can only be seen online at rochesterfirst.com. And then Sunday, we will wrap it all up with Senior PGA finale. A new champ, a look back at the week, and a look into Oak Hill's future. That's Sunday night at 11:35. Well, that will do it for us tonight here at Oak Hill. It has been 5 years since Rochester hosted a top-level golf event. It is going to be a whole lot of fun to talk golf again over this weekend. It should be a great championship, a whole lot of big names, and just flat out some great golf. For John Kutchko, Prescott Rossi, Dan Fates, and Josh Navarro, I'm Thad Brown. Thanks for joining us on Countdown to a Championship, and stay with us all weekend long.